So you said you was always like hands-on with things, right?
Yep.
So me, I like to do stuff like that too. Like in little toys, I usually like take a screwdriver, just unscrew them and put them back together and do stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And like my favorite class in school was text. I topped my class for 6th grade in text. So.
Okay. Yeah, what's funny is in school, I didn't take these things seriously, which is another reason why I say that I can relate to a lot of the kids. But like, I was always hands-on with the tech at home, which we didn't have a lot of technology type classes or whatever in school. And if I did, they were kind of like boring. But, that was the thing. Like, I was the class clown in school. I was the guy that would cut school and do that. Not always, but I definitely had my time or whatever with that. So that's why I can also, another reason that I can be so relatable. And I'm glad that God called me here to do this job, because I can talk to kids now that I see that potential in, that have that tech interest, and tell them to put that focus into it. And then we've got the tech center. So even if school is kind of boring to them, I can help them kind of like go down that avenue within the tech center and kind of make it more fun and not make it so like scholastic, if that's the right way to put it.
Okay, so how can the teen tech center like benefit the youth?
In a bunch of different ways. Firstly, it gets them off the streets. And of course, that's like the cliche answer. That's the cliche answer to give, but it's just the truth. Like, the first thing we want to do is get kids to communicate with each other, to communicate with other adults, to talk about things. So the first thing we can do, I establish relationships with the teens before we even get into the tech. You know what I'm saying? Who are you? What makes you who you are? What makes you tick? What are you into? Even some of like these young ladies that are walking in now, they come in packs. They come in 3, 4, 5 at a time or whatever. When I first met them, I got to know them as friends of each other. And then, we became close in our own way. But from a technology standpoint, it's in the book, it says it creates a digital divide. But I could go further than that and say that we're bridging a gap, because a lot of the teens in this area don't have access to $3,000 cameras, $400, $500, $600 podcast stations, record studio, and all of that. So what we're doing is we're giving you all the jump start, a head start on technology. Some of these things take years to master them. So if you come in at age 13 or 14 and you start learning how to do podcasting, by the time you graduate from high school, you can have your own podcast show. You can go home and say, look, Mom, Dad, this is what we need. Mr. Lamar showed me the roadcaster. He showed me the microphones, so on and so forth. We can put this stuff in the basement, and I can start my own podcast station right then and there. So I feel like it helps the teens like jump a lot of levels without having to have financial investment, without bugging mom or dad to spend money on things that they don't really know what they're spending money on. So they can come in here and show proof positive of what they're doing in here. And then once you go home and say, yeah, I got a whole 12 episode podcast series that I did at the tech center. Okay, now I'll go out and I'll spend $1,000 for you to have that at home, because you've proved that you've earned it and that you're ready for it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Does that fully answer your question?
Okay. So what my dad does, I did archery last year, and before he got me my own bow and arrows and stuff like that, he made sure that I actually was dedicated to it. So I was like doing it for about a month before he decided to get me a new bow.